Hey y'all, James here, and this is a little intro, a little overview of Madcala. This will be our next game coming to Kickstarter in July, sometime in July. Um, Partnering up with Manny Tremblay again because he's awesome and he's talented and he made a cool game. Him and Aaron Heine done such an awesome job designing this game and taking the structure of Mancala and turning it into a 1v1 combat game that's really fun and quick and has a lot of just really cool moments. And so I just wanted to do a quick overview of it today. I don't want to belabor this point too much. Just wanted to hop into TTS and walk you all through the game just so you have a general idea what's going on. And so, in Mancala, you pick up all the beads from a pod, and then you dribble them along, and, that's kind of like the main mechanic. Well, in our game, so what's happening, right? You're going to pick up a pod or a plate in this instance, and you're gonna essentially, wherever you stop, you're gonna get that action. You can see those actions. Does this work? There we go. You can see my little pinger there, right? You're going to get that action. In this case, this is a heal. This is a add a bead to your home plate. We'll talk about that later. This is a refresh a card or draw from the commoner deck. This is 2 damage. This is 2 damage and heal. Now let's, you pop that along, bloop, bloop, and now I have a choice. Do I want to refresh one of my +1s or do I want to draw from the commoner deck? Now I don't have any cards set up here for a player, but in the case that I did, here's like the Cheshire Cat being set up, right? So you've got your character and their +1s to this. So, one of the things that I think is really interesting is, Madcala is like our take if it's like a board game within the world of Wonderland's War. This is like the Mad Hatter's favorite board game to play at a tea party. And I think it's just a really cool thematic, meta kind of approach to the game. The game board that you're looking at right there, that's going to be a neoprene mat. That'll just be standard in the game. Taking a bit of a different approach with this game, it should have a nice affordable price. That really, we're looking at one upgrade situation that would be for everybody, but I don't even know if we're gonna commit to that or not, if it's even needed. Our goal here is to deliver a very affordable game that feels like a deluxe Druid City game, and that's just the standard on this one. But anyway, so you're dropping these off, you activate that, you get that action. So in this case, that once you use your +1s. Here, as you can see here for the Cheshire Cat, he has a doppelganger, he has the looking glass and madness. And so if you were to use this doppelganger at some point, you have to flip it over. Well, this ability is going to allow you to refresh it. And so now you can use it again. Now, these little dots here, those are beads. Beads are a bit of what you're using out here on the board, but they're also your currency. So the doppelganger is a really strong ability. So it would cost 3 beads that you would have to lose from your side of the, or from the table to be able to power that. And you can run yourself out of beads, and that can be a real problem. So, but in this case, that would be here. Or, like I was saying, you can draw from the commoner deck. Now, the commoner deck is going to have cool abilities that you get. You can choose to play it right away, or you can keep it in hand. You do have a hand limit of 2 cards. I did not shuffle the deck. That is why those are all there. But you can see there's lots of cool abilities, different things that you can do, all very strategic. Great times to be able to drop things on people when they don't see it coming, or fun ahas. Now, we've got these home plates here on each side of the table. This is my side of the table, right? Over here where the cloth is. This will be my opponent's side of the table. However, your beads can, as you place them, go across and activate plates on the other side. The issue is you can only ever activate plates on your side of the table. So once my bead is over there, it is now in my opponent's hand, and they can use it when they activate that plate, or they will use it. 1, 2, 3. All right, that get them access to that power. So once your beads go across the table, you've kind of lost control of them unless you have some sort of special ability that's going to allow you to manipulate that rule. So one thing here, you'll see these really bigger plates with the letter, and these are our home plates. These are kind of like our little safety. You'll notice that this bead and that bead for the other player, different color and quite a bit bigger. That's because these are what we call a doubler. Now, doublers, whatever they land on, you guessed it, they double that effect. So in this case, I'd heal 2. In this case, I'd get 2 beads to my home plate. This is how you get more beads in your rotation. Now, at this point, obviously, I couldn't just move this one here. You have to pick up everything in there. So I would go 1, 2, 3, and then you do not place anything on your opponent's home plate. That gets skipped. Boom, I could get double heals. So obviously this is nice if you make it land here. That's instead of 2 damage, you do 4. Instead of this, you get 4 damage and 2 heals. So landing your doubler in specific spots is very good. Also, it has these moments where, sure, I can activate this plate. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm hitting this. 4 damage, 2 heal. But now the doubler's on this side of the plate, or on the table. So let's say if it was over here. Now my opponent has access to my doubler. And if they move it, the doubler is always the last bead dropped. You can't kind of get around that. And so now they have 2 doublers on the side of the table. So anything, once it leaves your side of the table and goes to the other side of the table, now you're kind of giving your opponent a lot of beads to work with, and that can be troublesome sometimes. But that's something you have to manage because that's just part of the game. When you look at the different, so each character is going to have their own ability. So asymmetric ability. So if you look at the Cheshire Cat here, and this don't lock in on this art. This is all placeholder art from Manny. He's drawn some of these. Some of these are finished art, but they're not colored yet. So he'll get back to coloring those later. But like all of our characters are going to get new character art. This is just placeholder from Wonderland's War. But our Cheshire here, he gets to replace the doubler with the Madness die. So this is not actually what he plays with. He plays with this. Now this doubler die has some cool stuff going on with it. When you move it onto a plate, you roll it. It went out of the screen. And then this becomes the new power for that plate. So in this case, you would draw 2 commoner cards. It has 4 sides that are just solidly good sides. Then it has one side, that one, that is meh. And then it has one side that is outstanding. It's like hitting the wild card. And that is the 3X. So the 3X, oops, a daisy, where'd it go? The 3X, instead of changing that icon or that action, it augments it. So that would be 3 heals, 3, and then you're right. In this one, it'd be 6 damage, 3 heals. So it's a bit of a RNG mix there with the old Cheshire Cat, but everybody tends to have fun rolling that dice. And when you look at all the characters, they're all going to be very familiar from the game, Wonderland's War. So you get the White Rabbit, the Red Queen, Alice, Jabberwocky, and Mad Hatter, and then the Cheshire. That will be the base game set. We are currently working on the Caterpillar. He is going to be a faction expansion. Now, what we're going to be offering for the Kickstarter is we're going to be doing. He'll be in a faction expansion that will be free to Kickstarter backers. He will be $9.99, somewhere in that range, $8 to $10, somewhere in that range. Post campaign, he'll be a faction pack that does not come in the base game. But if you back through the Kickstarter or the Pledge Manager, you'll get that for free with your pledge. So one of the things that I am hoping to do, I'm not really hoping, I'm going to do it. I just hope you guys are okay with it. I hope it's accepted. We're going ahead and making this a deluxe game from the beginning, and in that way, there's not going to be really any stretch goals. It'll all be they're already there, right? And I know there's debates on what's the best way to do this, and some people say don't do it this way. Here's the thing: it's a lot of extra work that's really, in most cases, just really unnecessary. Um, in this case, we've made the very best game, so the cards are gonna have linen finish. There's gonna be spot UV on the box. We're looking at offering an upgrade pack for some of these beads for each of the individual characters, but we're not even convinced that's really needed. But I know some people will want that, so we're looking at it. But like the game's gonna have a neoprene mat included in the base game. Like that's just there isn't gonna be a fold out board that you see like here. It's just gonna be a neoprene mat. It's gonna fit inside the box of the game, and everything fits in there with an insert. Like we're just from the beginning, it's maxed out. And there's a couple reasons we wanted to do it that way. One, when you come in on the first day, you get to see everything that the game's going to be. There's nothing being held back. Two, I don't know, guys. It's just a lot of extra work, and what I'd rather do is I'd rather focus on making the game than building things around a campaign to build excitement. I think our games are already exciting and they're already amazing. And I mean, we'll probably still talk about some stuff, and hey, who knows, somebody may come up with a great idea that we didn't think of. That's one of the great things about doing a Kickstarter and doing crowdfunding. And then we could, we might make a stretch goal along the way, that sort of thing. But I think the main reasons to back, because I hear something like, well, what am I backing? Well, I think there's several really great reasons why you should back on the front end. One, we're going to give you the Caterpillar faction expansion for free, so that you're just going to get that. So that's like a $10 value right there. Two, my games don't go into retail; they don't go into distro. So, will I have extra copies to sell on my web store? Yeah, but if that stock runs out, then I don't have it, right? And then I usually have to wait for a reprint of some sort, or we'll have to wait till the next crowdfunding campaign that relates to the game to make reorders, things like that. The other part of it just being that depending on where you're at in the world, this is going to be the most getting it on from the Kickstarter fulfillment is the most efficient way to get the game, shipping cost wise. I see it all the time. People now who are coming in like, hey, I live in X country and I really want Wonderland's War, but the shipping's outrageous. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Well, what the reason is that way is because when we ship it from the factory, we take those orders and we find a supplier, a fulfillment partner in the region. We ship it to them, and then they ship it out to all those places. When I have to ship it from my warehouse in the U.S., you're paying that extra fee to get it there, and there's no getting around it. Now, we are working with a new partner on having better web store facilities and offerings across the globe. So maybe that won't always be the case, but at the end of the day, stretch goals are something I'd love to get away from. I'd love to just be able to give you the best game on day one. It has everything in it. You can see everything. You can make a clear evaluation on day one of here's how much he's asking for the game. Here's everything and every juiced up thing about it. It's already done. Like I said, how many games come with the neon? It is kind of neon. Neoprene mat as the standard. Like we didn't. Could we have pulled that out, gave you a cardboard board, and then sold the neoprene mat for another $15-20? Sure. But what I really wanted to do was just offer you guys and put the best foot forward from the beginning still give you something for giving me money on the front end. And I think that's still very important, which is why the Caterpillar is going to be free for backers and Pledge Manager. And again, once that Pledge Manager closes, anybody who picks the game up after that, it will need to pay for that faction expansion if they want it. We are going to make it where all those components for the Caterpillar fit inside the main game box. I really want to be able to see if I can get it into like a booster pack packaging with like the full packs, because those are just fun. I don't know if I can be able to do that because it does have a wooden token, so I've still got those things to work out with manufacturing. But for the most part, those components would be able to go into the game box. And I just think being able to be along for the ride from the beginning, be able to comment on the Kickstarter, ask questions, and then get that free item and the most efficient shipping and guarantee your copy, because I don't do retail. I wish things were different, but that's never worked for me. I'm 8 years into this, and I can't get the retail side of the business to work. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying such things out loud. These are the things that we don't necessarily talk about out there. But I can't get that lane of business to work for me. Even when we were at Skybound, couldn't get it to work. Really, not the way we wanted it to. So I'm done trying to fight it. So I'm just gonna do my web store and working on being able to list things on Amazon. So that I know that some people would be able to buy things off of the Amazon website, or they shop there a lot. But the main place is going to be the web store. So, and this new partnership that we're working on with AllPlay is amazing. They're amazing partners, and they're going to really open up a lot of things for me and for their partners. And I'm really excited to dive in. I'll probably do a video. Maybe I'll even bring in Joe from AllPlay, and we'll do an interview style, answer questions. But I'm just really, really excited about the AllPlay partnership. Okay, I kind of diverted to really explain that I'm not planning on doing stretch goals. We want to put the best game forward. You get something free of value. You get the most efficient shipping, and you guarantee that you get a copy. I still field emails every day about, can I get Tidal Blades 1 Deluxe? Can I get Sorcerer City metal coins? Like, these things, aren't always going to be there. And maybe it's different for other publishers if they go to retail. But since I don't go to retail, and you're depending on what part of the world you're in, this is probably going to be the best way and the easiest and most efficient way to get it. Now, I do want to address something else, because it was in a recent Tidal Blades update, Tidal Blades 2 update. I know my campaigns have almost always been late. That's on me, right? But I want you guys to know that the goal is, so when this launches in July, it'll pretty much be finished. Unless we work together to add something to the game, which it would have to be something incredible because of exactly what I'm about to talk about. I don't want to slow down the production and the fulfillment of the game. I need to restore faith in the audience that follows my games, that I can deliver a game on time or even beat the timetable. So my goal with this one is that the Pledge Manager would probably only be open for about 6 weeks after the campaign, and then we would close it and production would start. And once production starts, because this is a smaller game, especially compared to like the Tidal Blades 2 and things like that, production should be pretty quick. We're even hoping to be kind of ahead of the schedule. We don't have minis in this game, so we don't have that headache to worry about, making molds and all that kind of stuff. And so we should be able to get this to you pretty quickly. My goal is to have from end of campaign to in people's hands 6 to 8 months. And if I can beat that, it really is my goal, because again, I just need to restore faith in you guys and prove to myself, for the most part, that I can actually do it. And I know I can. I know the partners that I'm working with Manny, like, we're putting in a ton of work beforehand. And without getting into like this, you see me calculating what I want to say next. without getting into the weeds, because I think it would be unprofessional. When you work for somebody else, they dictate your timelines. When you work for yourself, then the ball's in your court. I'll say it like that. Okay. I didn't run a Kickstarter campaign last year in all of 2023. That was because I owed you 2 projects. I owed 2 projects, and I wanted to get those out. And so now that Wonderland's War, Shards of Madness is out, and most 95% of people have it from the campaign, I feel good now that I can launch another campaign. I don't think I should ever owe you more than 2, ever. And so that's my goal. And Tidal Blades 2 is now in production, and it'll be delivering, late summer, early fall. So then, the next campaign I'll be able to announce and run that either later this year or first of next year. That's my goal. I think that's the honest and best way to do it. I think it keeps me honest and out of trouble. And yeah. So anyway, I really wanted to be able to crank out something for you guys. This game is amazing. I love 1v1s, but I am not a Magic the Gathering player. I don't like when I have to follow these strong meta curves where it's like, oh, am I keeping up with the current meta? And the cards are constantly updated. So CCGs really aren't for me. So this being cool, like a Dice Throne. Love Dice Throne. Love Unmatched. Like those approaches to 1v1 games are great. And that's what you got here. And I think Manny's design of using Madcala is super familiar. So a lot of people played Madcala growing up. And this, like when I've taken it to Dice Tower West, this went to PAX East. Manny took it to somewhere else. I'm taking it to the Gathering of Friends next week. When you play this, people instantly recognize and connect with Madcala. Even if you haven't ever played it, you generally are like, oh, I've seen all those beads around the board. I know what's going on. I have a general idea of what's happening. But then you sprinkle in the asymmetric powers of the different characters and their +1s. You sprinkle in the fun of that commoner deck over there. And then you even though these matches only take like 15, 20 minutes, there's a lot of strategy. There's going to be moments where you're like staring at the board, calculating several potential moves. Okay. Then there's also going to be times where you've backed yourself into a corner and you're like, well, this is pretty much the only thing I can do right now, so I'm just going to do it. Right. So, but it definitely gives you those stand-up moments of like, I didn't see you were going to do that. You played that commoner card that I didn't see coming. You used that power really well with X blah blah that was happening. So I think I knew we had something really special when a couple weeks ago when I was at Dice Tower West, and we're running through some play tests, and I don't want to name names because it's not important, but there was a person, and they are part of content creation team, and they said, hey, I'm a huge Magic the Gathering player, and I love deep strategy and when it comes to 1v1s. And he was like, I love that this is so easy to set up, it's so easy to explain, but there are a lot of meaningful choices that I made in this playtest that I felt like gave me the agency to win this match. And so he won, so obviously he thought it was great. But seriously, like that's I think it's special. I think it's a special thing, and that's why I get excited about making games. Like if I play a potential game, then there's lots of them that I play, and it doesn't feel special, then I don't. I try to give people that feedback. I try to obviously be nice about it, but I'm like, hey, this doesn't feel like it's special. or there's something missing, or I see what you're trying to do, but if you could take it further in this direction, lean into the thing that's making it fun or special, I think you should try that, right? And I've given a lot of that feedback to players. First time I played this, I was like, Manny, let's do this. Let's make this a thing. So by the time we get to July, my hopes is that all of our balancing is pretty much done. Our rule book's in place. All of our offering is locked in. And like I said, I want to have that window of about 6 weeks, I think, 6 to 8, depending on circumstances. I think that gives people a nice 3-month kind of window to back a project, right? And get in on the front end. But between the Kickstarter and the Pledge Manager. And that lets you be able to be a part of the campaign and help contribute in the best way that helps creators the most, right? When it comes through either the Kickstarter or the Pledge management system, that's what helps us the most. It makes us the most money, which then allows us the opportunity to make the most money and make more games. The more resources I have, the more games I can make, even within reason, right? And anyway, I'm just really excited about this game. It's actually funny because this morning we were doing a play test between 2 characters. The Caterpillar's been, because he came last, because he's going to be the expansion. He still has the biggest swings in our development, and he took on. Who was up? I was playing Red Queen, and it came down to I had 3 health, Caterpillar had 5 health. I actually ran myself out of beads on my side of the table. I had 1, but I needed 2 to power the Nave. Here, I'll show you what the Nave does. The Nave's really cool. The Red Queen, she has this rose token. Ignore the square here. It's a token. And she uses commoners as the Red Queen does. Why will this not? Come on, there we go. To power up her ability. So she has these card soldiers. They feed her commoners. They go collect them for her. And then she has this token where when it's on this side, she uses a commoner and she can strike a bead from the other player's side. Or when it flips to the other side, every time you use it, it flips. So you got to kind of go back and forth between the 2 powers. It does 2 extra damage on an attack. So she's just constantly thwarting people. But the Knave of Hearts here, as you can see, when your opponent activates a pod, you may flip this card and copy that same action after the completion of their turn. So there's times when they drop, let's say they drop their doubler on this, and they're like, I'm doing 4 damage and healing 2. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to activate the Knave, and I do 4 damage and heal 2. But he costs beads, right? And so you have to spend these beads off of your plate. Well, I had ran myself out of beads earlier because I'd already used the Knave 3 times. And I only had 1 bead. And we were actually testing him because that ability is pretty powerful. So we were testing that had a 2 bead cost. And I could not copy their attack, and I lost. I got whacked. So it was awesome. I love it. So I think you guys are going to love it. I think you're going to love Manny's art. I think you're going to love the quality of the game that we're making with the components and the box and the art. And we're so excited about this game. If it has the success that we hope and think that it could, then we foresee other IPs and other characters to play in this format. Obviously, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We don't want to put the cart before the horses, all that good stuff. We're going to concentrate on this one first and let you guys get it and tell us what you think. But I think we got a good one here. So that's it for today. I just really wanted to kind of introduce you to the game, introduce you to what's going on with this project, and just let you see it. I think we'll probably open up a TTS playtesting. You can get, so the best way to join our to be a part of things like that is to hop into the Druid City Games Discord. I'll put a link in the description so you can join. Join the Discord, and then when we have a call out in the game tab, you can sign up for that. And so if you want to help us play test it, because they'll be typically around a public play testing to get feedback, we'll be doing that. So you might be able to get that soon. We might even make some sort of limited version that we can put on TTS during the campaign, so you can maybe come in here and play Alice versus Cheshire or something like that. So that's it for today. I have rambled on for a solid 30 minutes. It's what I'm good at. That's it. Madcala coming to you soon. Go follow. Again, also in the description, I'll put a link to the Notify Me page on Kickstarter, so you can be notified when we set the launch and we launch it. I'm hoping to do more of these videos now that I'm getting kind of caught up, and talk more about what's going on in Druid City Games. So, talk to you soon. See you next time.